When traveling to different amusement parks, you will often encounter many different styles of rides and attractions, each featuring different ride designs, styles, and functions that make them unique. And so today, we are going to be taking a look at what I think are the top 10 best roller coaster manufacturers. Now, just as a quick disclaimer for sake of video length, we will only be looking at manufacturers that have produced roller coasters from the late 90s to the present day, as there are enough classic companies for their own video. What we are looking at here are the modern manufacturers like B&M or Mach Rides that are for the most part good quality producers of these thrilling machines. With that being said though, I think it is time to join the top 10 best roller coaster manufacturers. Alright, and to kick things off, we're going to be taking a look at Premier Rides, which has been a renowned company for making fun multi-launch coasters since the 90s, as well as being the first company to use the LIM or linear induction motors on a roller coaster, which is a different type of method for launching a roller coaster. And as time has passed, they have used this LIM system to create several different types of launched roller coasters, such as the Spaghetti Bowl, Skyrocket 2, and even a dueling coaster, just to name a few. However, though, I can't help but find that on most of their roller coasters, most of them are just kind of standard, kind of just bland. You know, not providing too many forces, but at the same time though, I think that the roller coasters they do manufacture are just kind of bland, you know. They don't offer too many things in terms of intensity, forces, and that kind of thing. However though, I think what demographic they are trying to serve and the parks that they are selected for, I think they are good fits overall, and they do work quite well. And even though some of them with their awkward restraints might not be the greatest, I think they still work and still do just fine. However, I think one thing that makes a great manufacturer is two things. I think one, having a good depth lineup of coasters that you have to offer from, and two, just having overall good coasters. So that's what I think Premier Rides does best. They don't have anything like really stand out, but they do have several good coasters and just good overall quality of it, even though that some of them may be hindered by the awkward comfort collars and that kind of thing, but that's a whole nother debate for another video. Overall though, I think they've provided some nice smooth coasters that are fun, relaxing, and something that is overall enjoyable, which is something I really like about them, and I think that's what puts them at number 10 on this list. And now moving on with another fairly well-known manufacturer, we have S&S or Sunset Technologies, and they, like Premier, have been known for making launch coasters. However, the difference between the two is the fact that S&S uses, though Premier Rides uses LIM for their launch coasters, so S&S uses air compression for their launch coasters, meaning they can accelerate at a faster rate without having to worry about magnets. So rides like Dododompa, which is the fastest accelerating coaster in the world, has been built by them because they have manufactured it with air compression and allowed it to accelerate in a short amount of time, obviously. Now, the one thing I must mention is that S&S has a variety of different styles of roller coaster, from the 40 free spins to their launch coasters to even standard looping coasters with something like Steel Curtain. However, here's the thing I have a problem with them, is that some of their coasters are kind of rough, and not necessarily rough, but are just shaky, and even at one point they had to completely redo the track work for one of their coasters because of how shaky it was. But we won't point fingers at which one it actually is. Well, maybe we will. However, on a side note, I think that some of their restraints on their roller coasters are kind of iffy and just kind of okay. They're not necessarily uncomfortable, but they aren't comfortable either, if you know what I mean. Now, I will say, I like how on the newer models, like the air compression of like Max Force that just opened up at Six Flags Great America, and Steel Curtain that just opened up at Kennywood last year, they use these open-ended, non-restrictive restraints, kind of like a T-bar but mixed with an RMC restraint, if you know what I'm talking about. Does it make sense? I think that makes sense. But I really like that because it allows you to breathe more. You can feel like the force is acting on you. You can feel the air time, and that's one thing I really like though. However though, like I said, their coasters, some of them, like, we won't point fingers at anybody, they aren't the greatest at being smooth though. But however, I give them extra points over Premier for one, having, I think, the superior launch system, and two, having a more in-depth coaster lineup in their catalog anyway. However though, I still think they are both great manufacturers, and solidifies S&S as number 9 on this list. Now, entering in the ranks a little bit earlier than what people might expect, we have Gerstlauer. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this company has a lot of clone rides, or just similar ones anyway. They all feel kind of similar, which I'm totally fine with because they are low cost, and help to fill in the gaps in the park's lineup, and for some of them can be very compact, which is also another huge bonus. There isn't really too much to say with Gerstlauer, however. All of their coasters are smooth, besides some of the bigger coasters like Karnen at Hansa Park in Germany. Now, one thing I really like about this company is that, similar to S&S, they have actually quite a few different types of flat rides underneath their belt, which is I actually enjoy quite a few of their different flat rides they offer, like the Sky Roller and the Skyfly. It's something I also really like if a company can diverse themselves in not just roller coasters but flat rides as well. Now, just to get back to the roller coasters, while S&S may have a stronger collection of the more well-known roller coasters per se, like Dynaconda and that kind of thing, I think that Gerstlauer stands out as having one, the coaster that has the most inversions on the planet with 14 at Alton Tower. It's called the Smiler, but as well as having bigger rides such as Karnen at Hansa Park in Germany, like I mentioned earlier. I think they help to stand them out as they can show that they can go outside the box and they can think bigger, similar to another company that we will get to later in the video. With that being said, though, I really don't see anything wrong with Gerstlauer other than the fact that their coasters are still kind of more on the less intense side of things. But overall, though, I think that Gerstlauer is a fine manufacturer and is another one to keep on the lookout for in the near future, and solidifies it as number 8 on this list. And entering in just one spot ahead of Gerstlauer, we have Mach Rides. Now, Mach Rides is fairly similar to Gerstlauer, and as well as another company we will feature in the video. But the thing with Mach Rides is they are more well known for their launch coasters. But the thing is, they also have several other different types of Mach Ride coasters as well, such as the spinning coaster, the bobsled, which is not as popular as what it used to be, but it's still there, and as well as several others across the chain. But the main focus, like I said, is their launch coasters. Now, while I am a big fan of launch coasters, I do think theirs are good, but they're just okay. They are similar to what Premier Rides' launches are. They're kind of just okay. They're not too special or anything. Not really memorable, but it's not really about the launches for these kind of coasters. It's more about the elements that follow after. Helix at Liseberg in Sweden is a prime example of that. It has a good inversions, it has a good layout, and I like the pacing on it. And like Gerstlauer, though, there really isn't too many problems I have for this company, other than the fact that their launches are very weak, and that's something I really off-puts me about some of their roller coasters. However, though, it's not enough to deny the fact that the variety of roller coasters they do produce is outstanding, and they are definitely an up-and-coming manufacturer and definitely want to be looking out in the future. You know, we've had quite a lot of steel roller coaster manufacturers as of recent, so now I think it is time we add in our first wooden coaster manufacturer. That's right. So now entering at number 6, we have Gravity Group. Now, Gravity Group has producing some world-class wooden roller coasters since 2005 with the unveil of Hades at Mount Olympus or Voyage at Holiday World and Splash and Safari. Gravity Group has revolutionized wooden roller coasters not just by making them smoother and faster, but also by adding inversions to some of their newer models. Over the past 18 years, Gravity Group has produced big and small roller coasters for both the families and the thrill seekers, and in my opinion, Gravity Group is near perfect, but there's a couple of limiting factors that hold them back. Some of their newer coasters seem to have a little more roughness and shaky to them as opposed to another company that we will be discussing later in this video. However, I cannot be too critical since they are wooden roller coasters after all, and they're not going to be glossy smooth as steel coasters can. One thing that must be noted though is that the recent years that they've been doing smaller projects like Kentucky Flyer and Kentucky Kingdom. Overall though, I think Gravity Group is a middle of the pack company and are another company to be looking out for in the near future, and making it number 6 on this list. And now we have reached the top 5 manufacturers. And now we're going to have a very surprise roller coaster manufacturer entering in on the rankings is Vekoma. Now, Vekoma in the past has not always been the most amazing manufacturer, if you know what I'm saying. They built a lot of cloned rides, a lot of just mediocre trash, some probably being the worst on the planet. However, though, in the past 4 years or so, in the past just decade at least, we have seen them start to do this resurgence, almost like a renaissance or something, as they have been producing some outstanding and balls to the walls creations overseas, like Let Coaster at Legendia Poland, as well as Formula 1 at Legendia Poland, as well as several other coasters being built all across the world. This company, even though like I said earlier, doesn't have the greatest selection of roller coasters from their past, but have started to really build them up as something, a force to really be reckoned with these next upcoming future insane balls of the wall coasters, and that they really could become one of the best, if not the best in the future, even though that some of the competition that will be mentioned later in the video might not be so easy to come over, but I think that Vekoma certainly has a chance to do it. Not only that, but I think the restraints on their coasters, it just allows that even more because they're all open and exposed. They're not as crammed together, and they don't feel like you're claustrophobic in there in any way like their original like SLCs and stuff did. And I think that Vekoma truly is the next company to really start making a name for themselves. Not only that, but they already have a very diverse collection of roller coasters, from family coasters to thrill coasters to very highly themed coasters to dark ride coasters. They really have done just about all. Not as opposed to something to say like B&M, which we will be featuring sometime later in the video. We just don't know yet, but overall though, I think Vekoma is going to be a force to be reckoned with, and you really should be watching out for them because they really are doing some pretty crazy stuff, placing them as number 5 on this list. And here we are returning back to a classic, the wooden coaster, with Great Coasters International, or GCI. This coaster company has been widely considered the best wooden coaster manufacturer of all time by revolutionizing in the snappy transition and taking the chaoticness of a wooden roller coaster to the next level by making them faster, crazier, and more out of control than ever before, and revolutioning it in a new set of trains called the Millennium Flyers, allowing for snappier transitions, tighter turns, and overall more chaotic wooden coasters than ever before. And even though in the beginning they, like I said, were off to a rough start, they nowadays have really changed the game with their wooden coasters, offering from family coasters to more extreme wooden coasters with their roller coasters, which is actually quite impressive to make it differentiate between the two, because you could think that they're just wooden coasters, they'd be the same all the way around. But their family coasters are obviously more tamed down, and it's something I really enjoy, that they really know how to direct their coasters to whatever audience the park wants, and it's something I really enjoy. They even actually have a variety of different styles of layouts. They have the traditional out and back, they have a twister layout design like Gold Striker uses, and they even have a combination of both, which is something I really like. Now they even, like if I mentioned before, they have taken the older wooden coasters, they've even remodernized them to be to the higher status. So like for example, they took Ghost Rider, which was an old CCI wooden coaster, but take it and give it new life and probably make it one of the best wooden coasters on the planet, which is something that's unprecedented, besides another coaster manufacturer that we will be getting to fairly shortly. And overall, I really don't have anything to say about them. They are overall pretty much perfect in my eyes. But however though, there are still just a couple more companies in my eyes that stand taller above these, just because of the fact they are able to differentiate themselves even more and just overall have able to build some more world-class coasters. But however though, I must bring up this one point. With this new steel track that was unveiled last year, I think they will take their wooden coaster manufacturing skills, take it to the next level, and even incorporate some inversions on these bad boys, which will even take them to the next level even higher. Like, it's unprecedented what they're able to do, and I cannot wait to see what they have in store for the future. But unfortunately, that is the last time we'll be seeing them for today's video, so let's go ahead and get into the top 3 of this video. Now, starting off the top 3 of this video, we have B&M. Now, this is a true legend within the community. This company has probably produced the most diverse collection of roller coasters ever, and it's truly amazing. They've started not only with the very first inverted coaster, but they've also built hypers to wings to gigas to dive. They have truly done just about everything, and it's truly unfathomable. And some of their coasters have even taken it to the next level and even shattered some records that were never thought possible at one point, that were of course set by another company that we will get to in this video. But honestly, what more do I say about this company that hasn't been said about some of the others? This company not only has produced some very smooth rides, they've got some fantastic restraints on some of their coasters, and are most importantly very reliable, which is not to be said by some of these other manufacturers, and as well as some of them that we'll be featuring in the upcoming video. But overall, this is a truly fantastic company. And even though at some of their beginnings they didn't produce the strongest or the smoothest coasters out there, there is still no denying The reputation and the quality of coasters that they have put out is truly amazing. All I have to really say is thank you to this company for setting the standard for what is the modern day steel roller coaster, which is what Aerodynamics had originally done, but B&M has taken it and taken it to the next level, which is something I absolutely love. However, though, they fall short under two manufacturers just because of the fact that most of their roller coasters are pretty forceless. Just don't provide too many forces, but I am perfectly fine with, because like I said earlier, and throughout the entire video, I am absolutely in love with this coaster because of the fact of the reliability, of their smoothness, and just overall the quality they put out. And it is overall the reason why I put them as number 3 on this list. However, though, a company that is just one step ahead of B&M is absolutely RMC. They have taken the coaster industry by storm with their new fangled hybrids. They have taken old sucky wooden coasters and transformed them into hybrids, these world-class, world-beating coasters, and they're absolutely balls to the walls crazy. And even though some of them are not as good as others, there is still no denying just how great these coasters truly are. Now, my one gripe with this company is the fact that they do tend to feel more or less the same between coaster to coaster, but however though, you still cannot get experiences like those on any other coasters in the world. And the thing is, they don't just do steel hybrids, they also do wooden coasters such as the topper tracks like Lightning Rod, which has absolutely taken the wooden coaster industry by storm. And even throwing inversions on them, having crazy airtime, featuring maneuvers that never thought possible, is absolutely unfathomable. And then to top it all off, they are now starting to introduce these brand new single rail models, and even though we are just at the Raptors, there are still much bigger to come with the T-Rex models, which are still in development, but we will one day see them. And I cannot personally wait to see where they're going to take those next models. And even the restraints on them, while some of them can be a little bit restrictive, they still help to enforce the absolute monstrous airtime and inversion that these coasters can throw at you, and places them as number 2 on this list. However, though, with all that being said, there is only room for one truly great roller coaster manufacturer. And you know what that great manufacturer is? That's right, it is Intamin. Now, while you could say that their bad roller coasters in the beginning did hinder them a little bit, and you could say that the intensity of RMC's coasters ranks supreme, or that B&M's reliability makes them better than that. However, though, in my opinion, the thing that makes Intamin truly the greatest is the fact they've never been afraid to take a challenge or take a chance. They have shattered world records like never thought possible, with building rides such as Millennium Force being the first Giga, Topfield Dragster being the tallest coaster at the time, and then building Formula Rossa, the fastest roller coaster in existence. Intamin has set the bar for what a good roller coaster should be, with their intensity, with their snappiness, with the inversions. Intamin has truly done a service to the industry, and it has also produced a wide number of roller coasters of different types, like inverted, like launched, like a truly mega coaster, and overall has just a very diverse collection of roller coasters for one, and two, their restraints can oftentimes help out a roller coaster, and Intamin, in my opinion, has the best set of restraints depending on which coaster you're on. Overall, Intamin just comes forward as a well-rounded, great manufacturer that has produced some legendary roller coasters over time and has truly settled themselves as the best. And I highly recommend any of their roller coasters to you, even though some may be worse than others. The thing is, not only have they produced roller coasters, but they've also produced a handful of flat rides like their drop towers, observation decks, and even water rides, which is absolutely amazing of how diverse they are outside of just regular roller coasters. And just like that, that's all top 10 favorite roller coaster manufacturers ranked. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Post your thoughts down in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe and stay up to date with all the roller coaster content here at Capital Thrills. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye now.